I don't know whether before we go into the issue that the Senate is pursuing, talking about legislating some new laws to prevent chairmen who have deliberately not decided to conduct elections should be denied of their local government allocations. Of course, we understand all the magic at play at the sub-national level. We all know that it is the state government that controls all the resources, especially the ones that go to the local government areas. And then there's been, for decades, there's been the argument that is local government truly autonomous? Are they independent? And the answer is obviously a very, very 98 or 99% no. First of all, I want you to comment on that. Do you think the National Assembly or the Red Chamber is going the right direction by trying to pursue such a law? I think it's gone to its second or third reading or thereabout now.
Well, the issue of the local government administration is something that is very dear to my heart. Dear to my heart in the sense that I have never been in public office until I was made a member of a transition committee, which by law, by the Constitution, is illegal. And God just wanted me to have the experience because being an analyst, I'm into everything. I read a lot. I try to, because of my patriotism. But being in government and to see that there is a it is not there. Segun, I can tell you with evidence that what we call local government system, maybe it works in some other places, but I can tell you in the Akwa Ibom state, there is nothing like governance at the third tier. It is being used as a center, expensive center for people's domestic aids, for some people's maybe girlfriend or boyfriend, or for whatever other relationship other than electing leaders. The local government system, by the Constitution, is supposed to have a life of its own. But because of the interest of the state government and the error by the federal government to have approved what is called state joint account, the state joint account, maybe not the way it was actually proposed, but in implementation, the state joint account has become the warehouse where local government funds are controlled 100% by the state government.
Okay,
you can have.
You use the word error, but I think the government approving that is a deliberate act, and not exactly an error. And just like you said, the idea is to control all the resources of the local government areas. Go on.
Yeah, but quite so. I think one of the provisions was that when this money is domiciled and then released, the state in IGR, a percentage, I think 10%, the state government is supposed to add to whatever comes for the local government. But they don't do that. Rather, they take virtually everything, and sometimes they give less than 10% of the allocation to the local government. And because the people there are not there to serve, Segun, as a council secretary, I used more than my entire entitlement to run the council. And I was almost killed for it. It's a long story. I don't want to go into that. It's not personal. But because of my experience, I can tell you that whatsoever amount goes to local government, maybe this dispensation, they are getting some percentage that has made some of them, like in Akwa Ibom, we've seen some chairmen who, for the first time in their lives, are commissioning projects. And even, when you even look at the picture of the projects, they say ultra modern this, ultra modern that. Some things that look like houses built by our grandparents, managing to pick sand from the road and doing.
A lot of people will argue with you that when they say it's ultra modern, from their
Administration
standards,
to
it's ultra modern. Yes, I'm
set up a
listening.
caretaker. So they want to be returned as well. And unfortunately, it will only show that leaders don't want results. Because if you reward people for doing bad, you keep on encouraging criminality and fraud. So the National Assembly should not just, because Abba Moro has raised the issue of what is going on in Benue State, where an elected regime at the local government is being done away with, so that a caretaker can be brought in. It is not the first time it's happening. Yes, because the last administration there was PDP and APC has taken over. They want to send these people packing. And in like Akwa Ibom State, it is PDP state. Virtually all the local governments are PDP. But since the governor did not announce a possible election, you can be sure a caretaker is to take place. So
okay, citizen.
Yes.
Sorry for
Yes, sir.
for butting in. It will be very unfair to the governors to just use one blanket or one sweep to sweep all of them. First, a lot of those people were inaugurated in 2020, and this is 2023, which means that probably the laws also have to change, because the average tenure of chairmen or councillors is 3 years. So which means there's always a 1 year deficit per administration of governors. Now, for Benue, we are hearing that the tenures have expired, and as such, they should proceed on terminal strike. But of course, you know, the media is very mighty. I wouldn't say they, I would say we have written the story in such a way that it was earlier that actually sacked them, but their tenures expired. And then the issue of conducting elections. Of course, the earlier is just coming in, when is also just coming in. And you know, majority of these states rely on allocations and subvention. What if they don't have enough monies to do the election yet, and they probably need to just, you know, look for some time to gather as much as they want to gather? That's the first question. And the second one is, what really is the legality of caretaker committee? Where did the idea come from? Do you have an idea of that? Because there's no part of the constitution that supports it.
Thank you.
Go on.
Thank you. Thank you for the insight about that of Benue. I'm yet to read that up, because the impression that Abba Moro gave, Senator Abba Moro gave, was that the tenure of the chair council has not expired. And unlike Akwa Ibom, their tenure will expire, I think, tomorrow. I don't know what's today's date.
Today is the 4th of December. Okay.
Yeah. So their tenure should expire. That if you do not want transition committee, if you do not want a lacuna, you prepare to conduct elections. Local governments mostly are 3 years. That's the choice of states, most states. And now you start preparing for electing new ones by at least 6 months to the state electoral commissions, because elections into local governments are not conducted by federal INEC, but by state electoral commissions. And they should have made a release that elections will be conducted 2 months or 3 months to the end of the tenure. But because that was not done, you can be sure that the government had not intended in the first instance to do caretaker. So even in Benue State, let's take for granted, okay, their tenure is about to expire. The new administration have been on the saddle for 6 months. That will have been long enough a time to have made proclamation that you are going to conduct elections. And then the timelines will be released. and it will be followed.
Elections cost
until
money.
The state.
But elections cost money.
No, every election costs money. So if you don't want to conduct election, okay, will you accept a situation where in your own state or in a Akwa Ibom state, federal government will say, or INEC will say, we don't have money to conduct elections. So the federal government, for instance, APC at the center, wants to appoint caretaker governors. How would you feel, or how would anybody feel if the federal government at the center would decide they will not conduct state elections, or even like the last set of elections, or a those state that is pending, federal government will now say, we don't have money to give to INEC. So in those states, we are going to have a caretaker. And then APC at the center will now appoint APC members to take over as governor without the House of Assembly, because
I understand your argument. There would have been serious chaos.
So,